Namaskar, this is my 14th lecture. Here I'm going to bring together everything we said before, Marxism, a little bit of Freud, etc. The author that I'm going to discuss is Gayle Rubin. She is a Marxist feminist, and she gives us a very interesting theory, and I think one of the best theories in feminist theory. So what is she saying? What is so significant about her work? The most important thing about Gayle Rubin is she's saying that women's oppression, rather patriarchy, which we tried to define through dual systems theory and so forth. Patriarchy is universal, but it's not biological like Freud said. It's universal, but it's culturally universal. How does she establish that theory? Well, let's try to understand this in a very complex way that she presents her article. The article that she presents all this is called The Traffic in Women. So women are trafficked. Let's look at Gayle Rubin's actual work, but before that I want to remind the class of Freud's totem and taboo. According to Freud, in some remote past, the father kept all the women to himself. One day the brothers rose up in revolt, killed the father and ate his body and drank his blood, and they promised that they won't enjoy any woman of their tribe. They'll transact women and they'll bring women from the other tribe. According to Freud, this is the first incest taboo, which was written in human psyche and goes down generations. He jokingly calls it the last totemic meal, the last supper. And it became intergenerational. Now, Marcel Mauss, the French anthropologist, said that there is constant exchange in the absence of a state holding disparate groups together. What holds different tribes together? In our system, there is a state which controls different people's different interests, different ethnic groups, different religious groups, and so forth. But in tribal societies, there was no such thing as a state in the modern sense. And his research, that is Marcel Mauss' research, was mainly the tribes in North America and South America. And he said that what holds them together is constant gift-giving. There's constant gift-giving. I give you wheat, you give me maize or rice. There's constant gift-giving. For in the absence of gift-giving, there's war. That's what he's saying. So when gift-giving breaks down, it's war. Levi Strauss, who was his student, Claude Levi-Strauss, also an anthropologist, agreed with the gift-giving, but then he asked the question, so these gifts are temporary. I give you 10 bags of rice, you give me 5 bags of maize or wheat, whatever the equal amount is, and then I consume, your tribe consumes the maize and my tribe consumes the rice, so then there is war, but it isn't. Although it's constant, but there has to be a permanent gift which brings about a permanent relationship between intertribally. What is that? And he did further research again amongst the tribes in North and South America, and he finds out that there is a commodity that is exchanged universally to establish that permanent bondage. Let's first try to understand the word commodity. We talked about commodity in Marxist feminism, but we're going to recall what it is. A commodity is that which has both use value, that is someone can use it, and exchange value, that is it can be bought and sold in the market for a price. For example, a table has a use value. I use the table to put things on it, but it also has an exchange value. I bought the table for say $100 or so forth. Now, this commodity has to be circulated. In order for a thing to be a commodity, it has to be circulated in the market. A wooden table, wood is natural, but it's converted into a table and a commodity when it's circulated. Similarly, there is a universal commodity of exchange, according to Levi Strauss, that establishes permanent bondage between tribes. What is that commodity? And he says it's woman. So when you transact woman from one tribe to another, you establish a kinship. Kinship is a cultural symbol over natural prohibition of incest. So the father gives the daughter to the other tribe, and she's transacted, and she carries the phallus symbolically in her body. Let's look at this illustration to understand this. This is tribe 1, this is tribe 2, and the woman is being exchanged. In patrilineal society is the father here, the father there, the father or the son-in-law, and she's been exchanged. In matrilineal society, it's the maternal uncle who does the exchange. So she's the commodity of exchange, which establishes permanent bondage. Why? Because of kinship structures. Otherwise, the wheat and the rice and the maize, although there's a market there and there's an exchange, but they don't establish permanent bondage. And this is when Levi Strauss said human beings started to go from nature to culture. They stepped into civilization when they started exchanging women. That is marriage. Marriage is actually a bonding of two tribes through the exchange of women. And this, Levi Strauss, when he brought out his theory, he said, is it universal? He said, yes, it is culturally universal, and that is the basis of patriarchy. So what he did is, he took out patriarchy from biology of Freud, and he brought it into the cultural realm. And so this is very interesting. He made it culturally universal. Levi Strauss was asked, could it have been reversed? Could women, groups of women have transacted men? He said that it didn't happen in history, but it could happen. And then asked why, he was shying away from a biological explanation. But he gave a biological explanation. He said, there is always a scarcity of this commodity called woman in nature and the deeply polygamous nature of men. So he turns back to biology, but he says that it is possible that groups of women are transacting men, but it's never happened. Luce Irigaray actually calls this marriage, transaction of women from one tribe to another, which makes tribal bondage, kinship structure, the homoerotic bond of men for the transaction of women. So what is the definition of woman according to this? She is the supreme commodity of transaction between two tribes. This is what marriage is in the anthropological research. So this theory is very important. So how does this prohibition of incest, this marriage comes into our psyche? It comes intergenerationally. It is ingrained in our psyche. And so it's something that we learn through language. As we learn, we say father, which means he's prohibited or the daughter's prohibited. It happens, incestuous relationships happen, but it's culturally prohibited. Why? Because she has to be transacted. And another woman from the other tribe has to be brought in. But woman can also be exchanged for land, honor, property, or for another woman. So it's always the commodity of exchange. And this is the fundamental structure, not Marx's modern superstructure, that holds the society together. So now we have a profound universal feminist theory which gives us an explanation of the universalism of patriarchy. And we have to remember this in order to build up our theory of genocide, and especially Hindu genocide. So this is all for today. Namaskar.